Hi, today we're going to concentrate the Littles Go Exploring. Chapter 4. There, Tom said. He pointed. There's Henry Big's sailboat. He left it here a week ago. Tom, Lucy, Mr. Lil, and Uncle Pete were under a bush. They were near the pond behind the Big's house. There was a toy sailboat tied near the shore of the pond. It's a beauty, said Uncle Pete. Tom, I'm glad you remembered this, said Mr. Lil. I think all of us could travel comfortably on the sailboat. And there's plenty of room for any supplies we might need. We're going to borrow it for our exploring trip down the brook. Mr. Lil looked across the pond. Right now we have to get a boat over and dam into the brook, he said. We keep it anchored in the brook until everything is ready for the trip. Let's get going, said Uncle Pete. He started for the boat. Uncle Pete, Mr. Lil, and Lucy climbed into the toy sailboat. Tom ignited the string and held the boat near shore and hopped on. The boat moved slowly out into the pond. A light breeze came up and puffed out the sail. Uncle Pete stood in front of the boat. Yo, ho, ho, and above color, he sang. Mr. Lil stared at the boat toward the dam. All at once they heard a strange sound. Lucy pointed at the sail. Look, she said. The sail is flopping around up here. I can fix that, said Tom. He ran into the mast and started climbing. Careful, Tom, called Mr. Lil. I can tighten the string in a minute, said Tom from the top of the mast. Daddy, whispered Lucy. Look, the tiny girl pointed. Uh-oh, said Mr. Lil. There were two boys and a girl on the shore of the pond. They had on bathing suits. It's Henry Big and said Mr. Lil, and two of his cousins, added Lucy. The three big children were pushing a rowboat onto the pond. They climbed into it. Uncle Pete walked over to Mr. Lil and Lucy. We would better get out of this boat, he whispered, and try another day. Right, Mr. Lil said. Let's go. Wait, Daddy, said Lucy. What about Tom? Tom, called Mr. Lil in a loud whisper. He didn't want the big children to hear. Tom kept right on working. Just then, the tall girl dived from the rowboat into the water. Tom heard a splash. He looked over and saw the girl swimming. Tom started down the mast. The girl swam toward the sailboat. I'll get the sailboat, Henry, she called. We'll have some fun with it. Everybody out the boat, Mr. Lil said. He and Lucy and Uncle Pete dived into the waters on the far side of the sailboat. We're on the boat where the girl couldn't see them. They swam to some lily pads and hid. Tom got the bottom of the mast just as the girl got the boat. It was too late for Tom to get off now. The girl would surely see him. What could he do? Tom looked for a place to hide. He saw a hole in the floor of the boat. Just in time, he jumped in. He leaned in a dark room in the belly of the boat. Poor Tom Little. He stayed in the belly of the sailboat for an hour. Henry and his cousins sailed the boat back and forth over the pond. Once some water splashed into the room where Tom was hiding, Henry picked up the sailboat. He turned it over to empty out the water. He shook the boat. It was all Tom could do to hold on and not float out. What if, said one of the Henry's cousins, what if we're so small we could ride in a sailboat? Wouldn't that be great? Oh yeah, said Tom to himself. Great. By this time he was very seasick. Afterwards, then when the big children left, Tom made his way to the edge of the pond. Mr. Lil, Uncle Pete, and Lucy were waiting for him. Tom, you look awful, said Lucy. Why can't we walk on our exploring trip? Asked Tom. The four Lils went back to the apartment in the walls of the house. Cousin Dinky, Della, and Uncle Nick were waiting for them. They had been traveling around in Cousin Dinky's glider. We found a boat, Cousin Dinky said. It's beautiful, said Della. Large enough to take us all exploring, Uncle Nick joined in. Oh, Tom said. I think I'm going to be sick again. Bye.